When it comes to watching movies, there are three ways of experiencing that. There's the classic big screen in theaters, the new age of digital with services like Netflix and cloud-based downloadable systems like Ultraviolet, and of course, the ever-evolving home media. What began as a small idea of watching movies whenever you want in the comfort of your own home opened its doors to one of the biggest elements of the movie industry. When DVD stepped in, it brought in the idea of not only fitting in the movie, but also giving you plenty of options of how you watch it and get some bonus content as well, like behind the scenes stuff. And then came the Blu-rays, which made DVDs bigger and better with a clearer movie and capable of packing more bonuses that could even last longer than the film itself. As an avid DVD and Blu-ray collector and an animation lover, I decided to create a list of the animated features that any collector or film buff must have in their collection. Now before I get things started, I have two rules for what can count on this list. First, the movies themselves have to be some of the best, so you won't find me talking about terrible films like these. They don't belong in a collection, they belong in the trash. And second, Disney is not allowed on this list. With the way they craft their Blu-rays, they're in an entire league of their own that very few can reach. I'm Animat, and this is the top 10 Blu-rays of non-Disney animated films. Number 10, The Lego Movie, the Special Edition. Imagine if you take the average Blu-ray of the Lego Movie and add more pieces to it. I mean, sure, the regular version has a good amount of supplements on its own, like a commentary with the cast and directors, a couple of small looks into the making of the film, a sing-along to Everything Is Awesome, instructions on how to build some stuff from the movie, and a series of little shorts that have a small taste of the humor. So with that said, what is it that makes the Special Edition, well, special? The elements that were added to the Blu-ray are actually a lot more valuable than the regular featurettes. These include a new and better commentary that goes more into the production with directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, editor Chris McKay, and film crit Hulk. It also has a bunch of deleted scenes, the original animation test used to pitch the movie, a look into real master builders and how they helped the film, and even some YouTube videos. Seriously, the disc actually includes the Lego Movie in 90 seconds and a couple of how it should have ended. Add all that into the mix and you got yourself a Blu-ray where everything is awesome.
I think people will see all of the crazy amounts of detail that everybody put into it.
Number 9, The Secret of Kells. This was the movie that first gave notice to one of the big rising stars of independent animation, Cartoon Saloon. And the way that the Blu-ray approached the movie is as unique as the animation style it presented. It doesn't do any of that flashy presentation you'd find in any other bonus feature. Oh no. This one is a lot more direct when it comes to the production of the feature. No interviews, no cutting to clips of the film, no decorated transitions. This purely shows you behind the scenes material, like when the actors would record their lines, split screen comparisons to the work in progress to the final product, and a cute clip of Ashley saying thanks for the Oscar nomination. The most that would seem like what you normally get as a bonus would be an almost half-hour look into the making of the movie, and a commentary from the directors Tom Moore and Nora Twomey and art director Ross Stewart. But what's even more interesting is actually not in the disc, but what comes with it. The Blu-ray also has this little graphic novel that tells the origin story of both Brendan and Ashley, and they're as good as the movie itself. For many Blu-ray collectors, with all the knowledge that it holds, it might as well be the Book of Kells.
Some of the limited edition prints show scenes that were cut from the film or didn't make it past the storyboard stage. So I think that's something interesting for fans to see a little bit of behind the scenes as well.
Number 8, Persepolis. Going from one Oscar-nominated independent animated feature to another, this Blu-ray is actually a nice example of quality over quantity. The one funny thing about this one is that there isn't an entire commentary for the film itself. Instead, they're separated onto several scenes, with some explaining a bit of the differences between the movie and the graphic novel it was based on. And then you have the 3 big bonus features, and I do mean that they can be quite big, going from around 20 minutes to even a half hour each. The first looks into the making of the movie itself, how directors Marjane Satrapi and Vincent Fornal turned the book into an animated feature, and highlighting the English dub with recordings of Iggy Pop and Gina Rowlands. The second would focus more on the people in the production, as we take a glance on who's working on what part in the animation and the general workflow on how it is to work with someone as eccentric as Marjane. Finally, there is the entire press conference when the film premiered at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival, with plenty of interviews. It is worth noting, however, since this is a French animated film, that the last 2 featurettes I mentioned are only available in French with English subtitles. If that's something that you don't mind, then perfect! You'll find that this Blu-ray actually adds more into this mostly black and white film.
Donc ça c'était pas si facile que ça. Mais bon, on s'en est bien sortis. Parce que nous sommes très talentueux.
Number 7, Coraline, the 2-disc collector's edition. With a movie that's as fascinatingly strange with a bit of creepiness like Coraline, it does make you wonder how Henry Selick and his team at Laika brought this film to life, especially when it's the kind of movie that brought the medium of stop motion to a whole new level. Well, I can happily say that this Blu-ray will answer all your questions on it. The disc itself comes packed with an audio commentary from Selick and composer Bruno Coulais, some deleted scenes, a look into voicing the cast, a little segment about the movie's creep factor, and a fantastic 36-minute documentary on everything that went into the feature. From the idea of adapting Neil Gaiman's novella to putting up the finishing touches in the animation. Now, I know that there are plenty of different versions of the Coraline Blu-ray, so you might be wondering, how does this one stand out? Well, there are 2 things. 1, the U-Control. While you're watching the movie, you have the option of seeing it in many different ways, either with the actors voicing their lines, early animatics, or even other behind-the-scenes stuff. And 2, you can watch this in 3D. No, none of that expensive Blu-ray Real D crap. I mean the retro red and blue 3D, where it even comes with 4 old-school glasses. It's a Blu-ray that's so good, you might even question if it came from the other world.
Feels like Henry's just taken the stop motion to a whole new place.
Number 6, The Adventures of Mark Twain, the Collector's Edition. What makes this Blu-ray stand out is that it doesn't just highlight the movie and the making of it, it also showcases the medium that it uses. I mean, sure, it does a great job covering what went into Mark Twain with a commentary from director Will Vinton, a little behind-the-scenes bonus, and a gallery of both pictures of the production and the music of the film. In addition, it also includes a series of interviews that can go for almost an hour on many of the crew's perspectives on how it was when the movie was made, including character designer and lead animator Barry Bruce, music and sound supervisor Bill Scream, animator Mark Gustafson, writer Susan Shadburn, and, of course, Mr. Vinton himself. And then you have The Story of Claymation, a 17-minute look into the history of Will Vinton's career and how his impact in the industry helped gain so much interest to 3D animation. From his very beginnings when he crafted the Oscar-winning short Close Mondays, to the top of his game when he was making shows like the PJs. It is both a grand salute to the art of claymation and the art of Mark Twain's storytelling.
The process of just working with the clay is something that's is really fun. I mean, it's very therapeutic, as a matter of fact. And I have a big wad of clay up there at my desk, so that when I am doing business kinds of things, I can reach over and grab it and mold some things.
Number 5, How to Train Your Dragon 2. Strangely enough, this Blu-ray is actually more interested in going deep into the world of How to Train Your Dragon than looking into how that world was made in the first place. Most of the bonus features included explains more about how the land of Berk evolved from the last film, including how the island made itself habitable for dragons, a look into Hiccup's new gear, the machines Draco used to stop dragons, and even a profile on each individual dragon from the franchise. It also comes with this exclusive half-hour short from the people that made the Dragon series about the origins of dragon racing. Of course, it does have some of your usual bonuses about the movie itself, like deleted scenes, a little gallery, and a commentary, but you might be wondering, what about the actual behind-the-scenes stuff? Ah, don't you worry. The movie decided to package it all in one big bonus feature called Where No One Goes, The Making of How to Train Your Dragon 2. Going for almost an hour, it takes a look at all the major steps that went into the production, from the time when director Dean DeBlois started to think of the main ideas for the sequel, all the way up to the film's release 4 years later. Not only is the movie itself an upgrade to the original, but even the Blu-ray has more power to make it soar.
Because it now all of a sudden points us in the direction where anything is possible.
Number 4, Anastasia. If there's one thing to mention about the Blu-rays of Don Bluth's animated films, it's that they absolutely suck! Yeah, it's nice to own the movie, but why would they not even bother putting in any sort of bonus feature? It almost feels like a joke! However, it is possible that all the creative effort to craft a great Blu-ray was put onto Bluth's most successful feature. Admittedly, the most that it did was just carry over the bonuses of the original DVD and put them onto here. But those special features are really what makes this Blu-ray so valuable. Obviously, the biggest ones in here are not one, but 2 looks into the making of Anastasia, and this doesn't count the commentary from Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. One is a 44-minute documentary that goes in depth into the production, and an older one that's half as long and hosted by rapper Aaliyah. Oh, speaking of which, her music video on Journey to the Past and the making of it is here too. It even offers a lot of stuff that can be more suited for kids, like a couple of games, Don Bluth showing you how to draw some of the characters, and a couple of sing-alongs. However, the craziest thing that this Blu-ray did is actually bring in a couple of old VHSs related to the film and adds that as featurettes. Remember that little sing-along with some Shirley Temple songs? That's in here. Remember that spin-off film that stars Bartok? That's in here too. For any Anastasia fans, this Blu-ray would be the ultimate journey to the past.
And as we walk you through it, maybe you can learn something about the process.
So we'll be your guides.
Number 3, the animated films of the Criterion Collection. For those of you who don't know, Criterion is recognized as a home video distribution company that specializes in the more artistic and important films and would release them as Blu-rays and DVDs catered especially for film buffs. They don't often distribute the most recognizable movies, but they do offer some of the hidden gems of cinema and would treat them like royalty. Some of the bonuses that they include are not just about the making of the movies themselves, but they can also offer interviews with filmmakers about the movie's aesthetics, some other short works from the directors, and even some archived material about the movie, on top of a little booklet with a little essay about the film from either a filmmaker or a critic. Criterion would really do its best to find anything and everything that would relate to the project in order to give you the full package in one disc. However, I would like to mention though that it's actually very rare for Criterion to distribute an animated feature. During the time I made this top 10, the only ones that were available include Fantastic Mr. Fox, Fantastic Planet, and Watership Down. There was at one point when Akira was a part of the collection, but that was way back when they started with Laserdiscs. However, when Criterion does look into some animation, you can bet that you'll be getting some high art in the form of a Blu-ray.
Doing this sort of movie, it's a long process, and it's very detail-oriented. And everything is just more intricate.
Number 2, Kung Fu Panda 2. Often regarded as the best of the franchise, much like the film itself, this Blu-ray really doesn't hold back in unleashing all the awesomeness it can deliver. It starts off with the usual bonus flair with a commentary from several of the filmmakers, deleted scenes, and a behind-the-scenes look into the cast of the movie. But then it also puts some moves that would entertain the kids, where they can learn some Chinese words, play a couple of games, and look into how people are saving giant pandas from extinction. But then it pulls off its special move by offering not one, but 2 animated shorts that are more than 20 minutes each. One of them is an episode from Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, and another is an exclusive short called Secrets of the Masters, which looks into the backstory of the new masters introduced in the film like Master Croc, Master Storming Ox, and Master Thundering Rhino. And finally, it unleashes its ultimate power by giving 2 additional ways to watching the movie. We know that there is the standard and the one with audio commentary, but now it also has a trivia track that would give some good tidbits about the film, and the Animator's Corner. Often found in Blu-rays of DreamWorks films, this allows the viewer to simultaneously see the film and look into the making of it step by step. Out of all the Blu-rays on this list, this is the one that is the most connected with its inner peace.
We actually have to build every single frame from the very beginning. It's a little bit of a backwards process.
Now, before we get into the greatest Blu-ray for an animated feature, I would like to have an honorable mention for a set of Blu-rays that would be a nice addition to anyone's collection. Looney Tunes, the Platinum Collection. The Looney Tunes are known to be the true masters of animated comedy. With a huge list of unforgettable characters, everyone has at least that one memory they'll always cherish that involves Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and so much more. For anyone who is a collector, it would make perfect sense to actually own some of the greatest cartoons of all time. This 3-volume set each contains 50 shorts that are among some of the best that the Looney Tunes have to offer during their golden era. But that's not the only reason why these Blu-rays feel more like treasures. They actually contain many hours of endless bonus features, from biographies of the directors like Chuck Jones, Friz Freleng, and Tex Avery, bonus cartoons outside of the Looney Tunes, documentaries on the characters, commentaries, and many more. Now, there have been many debates about which collection is better, either Platinum or its predecessor, the Golden Collection on DVD. Well, it depends on what you prefer. If you'd rather have almost 360 cartoons at your disposal, then you go with the Golden one. If you rather want an entire library of information about the making of the cartoons, then Platinum would be best. But whether it be Platinum or Gold, it's a collection with so much value for any animation fan or comedy enthusiasts.
Am I a stinker?
And the #1 Blu-ray of a non-Disney animated film is The Iron Giant, the Signature Edition. For many years, fans demanded Warner Bros. To bring out to Blu-ray what is known as one of the greatest animated films of all time. So much so that even director Brad Bird himself tried to persuade the company to do something about it. What Warner Bros. Ended up doing could be the ultimate Iron Giant package. Not only did they release an updated version of the film in theaters, but a year later, they crafted a Blu-ray that was worth the wait for any fan, including an ultimate collector's edition with a lot more bonuses. For starters, it brought back all the special features from the 2003 DVD, which was already filled with some good stuff to begin with, like deleted scenes, a commentary, an inside look into the voices, the score, some parts of the production, a gallery, and the old Easter eggs, on top of an old made-for-TV making-of documentary that was made to promote the film. But what about the new stuff? I mean, there must be more than a new version of the movie that has a few additional scenes. Well, for starters, there's a short clip of Brad Bird talking about the importance of hand-drawn animation, a member of the production going into a salt mine in Kansas where Warner Bros. Keeps all of their archived material, including all the art done for the movie, And the crown jewel of the Blu-ray, outside of the movie itself, The Giant's Dream. This 56-minute documentary chronicles the entire history of the Iron Giant up to when it bombed at the box office, including starting off with Brad Bird's story on how he got into animation in the first place. That bonus alone is worth owning the Blu-ray, and I couldn't be more proud to have it among my collection. In a way, owning DVDs and Blu-rays holds something better than having the same movie digitally. An identity. You'd be surprised how a collection can describe a person, about their taste, what they enjoy, how much they appreciate the art of cinema. Each film is like a trophy that the person feels like the movie is worth spending money to have it placed on their shelf so they can check it out whenever they want. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go find some more Blu-rays to add to my ever-growing collection. So until next time, see you later, dudes!